Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. Welcome back to the small holding series. We're now in October and we're doing well with money. Got £11,672 and that's with progressing through into this month, into October, and taking like a hit on about 8,800 every month. But this is the first month that it's gone down. We're now at 5,000. We are progressing through that initial financing costs. I'm just trying to think what was the item we got that was it must have been 6 months when we purchased it. I know there's a few others that go the 12 months, so we really need to get to that April in the next year to actually clear off that financing option we did. And I don't think I'm going to do that again. I think I'm just going to lease items out and then eventually buy them, because it's crippling. It really is crippling for me on this series, and when we're playing on hard difficulty and struggling, it's not the best thing. It really isn't. So that'll be the last time we do that. But I'm just glad we're starting to pay off things. I know that's one. This is definitely one. The windrow. I think that might be it. I think the windrow itself was the one that cost quite a bit, and I could have got that on a 12-month maybe, potentially, and then this one's 6 months. So it could be just this now that's like being the 5,000 every month. It looks that way. But anyway, we're now into October. I said I was going to progress through. We have done. As I say that, the rain's just finally kind of died off. It did stop, and you could probably see that it says that it was cloudy. But there's always a bit of a overlap where it kind of just calms down and goes down. But the moisture's going up, and that's really important for this episode because we're going to make hay. So we're going to challenge ourselves here using the realistic weather mod. We're going to make hay, but after it's rained, so it's going to be pretty tricky. If I'd done it like the in-game day before, the moisture was like lower than it needs to be, so as soon as it turned, it actually turned into hay. But I don't want to do that. I want to show off what's cool about making hay the old way, or the best way, which is the old seasons way. So you ted it, you let it out in the sun to dry, and so on. Now it is only 12 degrees, so I don't know how that's going to impact it. I've not looked at the coding of that, that side of it, or that in depth basically. But I do know that it will start reducing, and I've changed the number, so it should reduce quicker when outside. I also originally changed it only needs to be like 18.5%, whereas the way it's set up is 12.5%. But I've gone back to 12.5%. I've gone back to 12.5 because I don't want to make too many changes. Arrow's doing really good stuff at the moment where he's kind of, updating and changing things along the way. And we're seeing some really good stuff on his GitHub page. So if you want to go up there, if you want to go onto that now, I'll put a link in the video description to his GitHub page. If you do want to check it out, there is actually kind of like you call it a developer version that's not on Mod Hub. That's actually got a menu right here. So where you'd actually see, if I just bring my mouse up, so where you see the map, there's actually a moisture menu, and it shows, or should show all the cells in a field and what the moisture is. The question was asked by Dan. Wouldn't it be cool if you could add it in? So, for example, we can see the soil composition section here. We've got like weeding, fertilizing. Wouldn't it be cool to add it in where you see the moisture as a color on the field? But that is going to happen. He's just waiting for precision farming. So he's responded to that and said that it's basically on a roadmap. It's planned out to be like that. So yeah, we're going to make hay in this episode. I've got something I want to try out first, but we're going to get through it. Also, I put the coding back in for the bales. So originally, with the version I've edited of the realistic weather mod, there was bales basically that was set up that if bales get rained on, they start to rot. Now, there's two issues there. One, it applied to rat bales, which is obviously an issue because my rat bales are outside. So I scratched that out, but it's been fixed and sorted. So I've put it back in. So now, with it raining, these bales should stay at the right volume, which they have. But if I had hay bales and straw bales, or fresh grass bales, or even unwrapped silage bales outside, they would start to rot away. Now, I know I did report this to Arrow. When it gets to 0, the bale remains. He said he's going to fix that. I don't think he's fixed that yet. I don't know. I'd have to test it out. But hopefully I never have to find out, because I don't intend on leaving my bales outside. If I'm doing, some work, I'm hoping that it's not going to rain. We're going to have to keep looking at the weather. And I've had a quick look, and I think we should be good. It always throws me where it is now. There we go. So we got rain coming at 4 o'clock. So as long as it's not bailed up, it should be good. because what will happen is the grass will just, or the hay, should I say, well, depends what it'll be at that time. It might not even turn to hay by 4 o'clock. So what should happen is the moisture of that grass that we're trying to dry out goes up. But then, as you can see, we've got a good stint of kind of like decent-ish weather. October day 2, the weather, obviously the temperature does go up, but we've got rain again. And I have actually adjusted the environment XML in Calmsden or Oakbridge because I found that the rain's just not, we don't get much rain. I think that could be contributing why I've had to edit this mod in the first place, so it kind of works, because I'm always getting like drought-like conditions. So I've made it just so the minimum that it will rain for and also the maximum is increased. So it's more in line with kind of like how it's set for cloudy, for sunshine, and for other weather types. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I did only change it for autumn as a test, so if it works, then I'll probably change it for all the other months that it's there. Obviously, I'll reduce it in summertime because you get less rain, but for autumn, spring especially, I think we should be getting a bit more rain than what it's set out for. Now, it could also be the fact that I'm playing on 2 days. Like, 2 days is, not long, is it, for a month to pass? So it might be that I have to start changing my gameplay style and maybe go to like 5 days a month and see if that helps, because, if we get more rain in a month, because you've got more chance of having different weather effects going on with the more days you've got, that could also be a factor, but I'd have to check it out. Depends. It might not even determine like that. It might be that it actually speeds up less because you're stretching it out more. I don't know. I'd have to just try it out and test it out. There's a lot of coding in the mod, but it is the best thing, and I've said this pretty much every episode, feels like, for the last 3 weeks. It's the best mod and the best potential we've got for the game right now. And I get this. I get the feeling from a lot of players, including myself. The feeling in the community right now is quite low around FS, and it shouldn't be, because we should be playing a new game, hyped, enjoying it, and looking forward to new things. But I feel like, me especially, I can only speak for myself, but I've also seen comments and people that interact with me. We're all hoping for more, and we're just waiting on little things. So I love this mod for that reason. But we're going to really try it out today and test it out. But first, I want to jump up to over here to where I sell the milk. In one of the previous episodes, I asked the question, would you rather me deliver the milk myself or simulate a tanker coming on the farm and picking it up? So that's what we've done. We're trying it out for the first time. This is a test, because I've not actually tried out the course that I've recorded on AutoDrive. So I put the money in to buy this, and then obviously bought it. So it's not an item that I can use for myself. It's just simulating something that's going to pick up from the farm. So even though I own it, I've got it that I can't scroll through it. And yeah, it's basically there for the reason of collecting the milk and selling it. So let's try this out. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be ridiculous. That was insane. The first time an AutoDrive just drives into a fence. God. Let's start that again. Why is it missing out the course? I wonder why it does that. Like, why does it actually miss out the course? Like, you're on the line there. Do the turn. That is so strange. I mean, I do think that AutoDrive has just basically been converted by the people that made AutoDrive. Just converted it for 25. I don't think they've done much to improve on it or even make sure that it's working right, because I've had several problems with it, and I've also noticed a little bit of lag and everything, like, by having it on. So I hope it isn't just, let's convert it over and then just kind of turn a blind eye to it. I hope they do try and improve on it, because it's a brilliant mod. And yeah, because you look at Courseplay, and Courseplay has been like redeveloped, and it looks like it's been put in kind of like segments to make sure it's all working right. We need AutoDrive looking at. We do. But there we go. We're on the way. We're going to pick up this milk, and hopefully it works all right. I've got it complicated as well. The whole course just reverses in, so we'll see how it goes. But we're riding along currently. I might just jump to the farm and take a bit of a walk up. I do need to go pick up the baler from Jeff as well, if you remember from the last episode. I just said that we parked it in Jeff's garden. which is just there. So I do need to pick that up because we're going to be doing some hay bales, hopefully, in this episode. I've also got loads of stuff to work on. You know, we've got the straw bales that need selling. We need to sell the milk. It's a good price right now. It's a really good time to sell it all. I've got work in this field to do. I've decided that I'm going to be doing soybeans, but, you know, we need to mulch this up. We need to probably cultivate it because I haven't got a direct seeder. I could lease one out, and then it's just a case of mulching and so on, but I think it's probably better to cultivate it up and go from there. But let's see. He's coming around the corner now, and he's failed. So we've already got an instant problem, which is mental. I wonder if I've got no collision detection on for some reason. You can turn that off. Right, so I'm going to put collision detection on, but I have found that it's not sometimes, well, it's not the best thing to actually have on, because what you'll find is it detects it too much, so then it'll just stop completely, instead of thinking you can actually get past that, though. So he did the turn then. I wonder if he just come in too fast or something. Let's go to vehicle. I'll put this down to 50 just to see if that helps it out. But this is going to be the difficult part now, because he's supposed to go round the roundabout section and then start reversing down here. I mean, I don't even think it's fully... No, it hasn't. That is, I mean, like, I'm just going to call it out because I feel like I have to. But auto drive doesn't really do what it's supposed to do anymore. It should just basically keep it simple. Follow the course you record. Like that, where it's cutting, it's sensing the other section and just taking a shortcut. But by doing that, it's not actually lining itself up very well. I feel like I'm having a really good moan today. It's like, no nonsense. Just call it out. Because then, if it drove all the way up here, it'd be a nice straight reverse for it. And all I'm asking it to do is just to follow the path I set out when recording. Okay, do you know what I might have to do as well? I might have to remove them walls there, because they are very tight on a farm. But let's see if I start it from here, what happens. 14 minutes so far, and a lot of faffing going on. We haven't even started the hay work yet. So that's what it's colliding on, this thing. So I'll make sure to remove that. I'll also remove them as well. But then again, now it's colliding with that. I basically just need to remove that stuff. Even though that turn is completely possible and not an issue, I could try and re-record it, but I think that's just too much faff in it. If I remove them out, it makes it a lot easier. But let's see what happens here, because he should follow the whole course that I've set out and then start reversing at that point. I don't know if there's a setting I'm missing that stops it, but with me, yeah, he's done it again. That is very strange. What if I turn off collision detection? You know, I actually thought when I set this up, oh, that'll work. I've just recorded it. I've drove it myself. This should work perfectly. How far from the truth that was. Where is the collision detection again now? There we go. So let's just turn that off. So yeah, it is collision detection that's stopping it there. But still, he should, you know, the driver should go all the way up, because look at that. Let me just do some troubleshooting and figure out what's going on here. Right, so I've just done a few adjustments. It's definitely trial and error with this. I've got a feeling, though, because of the start, that I'll be very surprised if this gets the reversing right, because it's yeah, it's weird because you record it, but it never usually follows like what you've recorded. You can see that it's already hit that fence. Because if you look at that now, it's actually off the line. So it's very strange, very strange. But we'll keep trying. We'll definitely keep trying, because persistence is key, as they say. But no, it's a little bit disappointing, I have to say. I feel like auto drive is not Not very good at the moment, and I know it's still a work in progress technically, you know, it's not been released on Mod Hub, but some of this stuff's like surely the basics of what it was designed for, which is just to simply follow a course. I mean, it's still raining anyway, so we're not going to be making hay till that stops. Right, it is filling up. But if it tries to reverse... This is the bit that confuses me now. If he actually tries to reverse that waypoint to go forward, that will be confusing. Because he doesn't do that when he's reversing down. But I've just got a feeling he's going to do that now. You know, the thing is, it's an excellent mod with, you know, sophisticated scripting that I have no clue about, let's be honest. But and it, you know, with course play at times on certain maps and certain layouts, it works perfectly. But on tight yards like this and tight farms, and it's problematic. I think that's when it really does struggle. So we're getting close. I've actually got a lot more milk than I thought I had. 10,000 litres. We've got to be around maybe 11, 12,000 litres, which is going to be good money. Let's see where we stop. Obviously, we want the most because it's a good time to sell. And we are crying out for money just to keep getting us through. Right, so it's there now. So it's not full, which is fine because we can just tell it, right, you need to carry on. And I'm glad that it's just drove forward. But no, this is what I'm on about. Like, what is it attempting to do now? Except drive into objects. I mean, I have to laugh. Honestly, I don't get it. I think it's going to be improved. I think when it's actually on Mod Hub and the final version, I think we'll have a bit more joy. But currently, in the state it's in, it really does need micromanaging through pretty much the entirety of the journey that it's making. I could just get a smaller one. If there was a mod that was, you know, a smaller tanker, then I would go for that because, yeah, this has been difficult. And I think, yeah, we'll definitely not use this again, put it that way. And I've done a lot of faffing at the start of this episode, so apologies for that. This wasn't, I intended this to be a couple of minutes, pick up some milk and sell. But auto drive really has let us down massively. It just, it doesn't follow the recorded course very well. So I think what we'll do going forward, until, you know, auto drive's had some updates, because it's still that release that we got on New Year's Eve. We got it because I remember it coming out thinking, amazing, auto drive is out on New Year's Eve. So it's been out for about 4 months now. In fact, it's been exactly 4 months, and we've not had any updates as far as I can tell. So yeah, I think probably the next update you'd imagine would be the final, maybe that version 1 that they sent to Mod Hub. So until we get that, I think we'll try and not use auto drive, especially on this series where everything's a little bit tighter and more of a challenge. But what I will do is I'll keep this, but we'll have to do the driving, and we would have done it by now anyway. It would have been a lot easier to do. We'll do the driving, pick it up, go sell it, and then just park this here. And then we're close enough to what I wanted, which was to simulate someone picking the milk up to sell. But unfortunately, we're taking a part-time job when we do it. But let's see how he turns here. I mean, he's got plenty of space. It makes me laugh, it does. I'm sure it's got worse though, or I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm blaming George. It's just easier. I mean, because that turning, it's like he brake checks every 5 seconds. Every 5 meters he's brake checking. And he didn't even sell the milk. What the? That could have been my fault because it wasn't a milk sell, but still. Yeah, we're definitely going to drive this from now on. But there we go. We're selling milk. We finally got there. And I think I need to speak to the people in the dairy and just say, you need a new driver. But there we go. Look, 9,300. So that's actually really good. And it sits us at 21,000. Anyway, I'm going to go pick up the baler, get that parked up, and then I'm going to fast forward a bit of time because this rain has been going on for quite some time, and it does say that it's supposed to be cloudy. So I know there's always a bit of a overlap, but yeah, we need it to stop so we can get to work. So we're finally there. It was actually 8:36, and because I'm playing ×1, it's 36 minutes in-game from when it stopped raining officially and went to cloudy that we actually got to see the rain stop. But I went and made a brew. Thought, I need a brew. Auto drive annoyed me a little bit, you know. I was getting triggered by it, even though it couldn't actually get into the triggers. So I thought, I'm going to make a cup of tea and chill out. It's been a long day and I want to just relax and play FS. So what's going on? But now we're going to make some hay. So we're going to chop this up. We're going to do our normal kind of routine around the field. But then we're going to get a tedder out. And we're going to see how it changes. And we're going to keep an eye on the moisture. After that, drops. That dog's back again. Every time I work in this field, the dog's in it. Oh, that dog loves it. I think it just thinks, right, I'm going to get in front of the tractor. In fact, I think it was when I was making silage so the last time I was cutting the grass in this field, he was out in the field by the tree, and I think part of my time lapse I actually drove through the dock with them. Could have been the baler. Actually. At least it wasn't the mower. But every time I'm out in the field, the dog thinks, I like the smell of fresh grass, so let's get out in it. Anyway, God. I think I might be losing my marbles today. So anyway, the plan is, apart from mowing a dog, which is not my initial plan. Sorry about that, buddy. We're going to get this chopped up, have a look at it, and look at the moisture content, because it's going to be in the high, probably like 30s on average, which is way too much. We need it to be 12.5 to turn into hay. And then as soon as it's done, all that stuff, we can then obviously row it and bale it. And we need to bring it in. It has to be brought in before 4 o'clock when that when the rain comes back. Because as soon as it's in bale format, if it's out in the rain, it's going to rot away. So it's really important to do that. But anyway, I'm going to get this sorted out. I'm going to get it mowed on a time lapse. I'm also going to get the tedder out. And then I'll cut back in after the tedding so you can see what it's doing and how the realistic weather mod is changing the way we're making hay. So that grass has been mowed and tedded. And you can see now we've got an extra kind of info box window at the bottom that says grass and the amount in this kind of area that I'm standing on, and then the moisture of the grass and the required moisture it needs to be for it to turn into hay. So we need to reduce it from 24.15% to 12.5%, and then all of a sudden all this grass will turn into hay, a bit like it did in Seasons of Old. It just instantly, boom, turns into hay. Now I know Seasons of Old was a bit different because you'd cut the grass and then just leave it out in the sun, and then eventually within time it turned into hay. It kind of made it so you didn't need to ted at all. I like this because you still need to ted. If you don't ted, it doesn't activate that drying process, so you need it, or else it just state required tedding, yes, or as it says there, needs tedding, no, it would be yes. So you can define if you want to make silage or hay by just tedding it. But then again, if you're tedding it, it's not instant. So a little bit different to Maize Plus, because I know Maize Plus had it so it was multiple times that you were tedding. Technically, you could like get it down from wet grass to semi-dry and then down to kind of like hay eventually. So I know it's all been different along the way, but I like this. I like it. It's kind of making me feel like Seasons of Old, but also I still need to use a tedder. I think that was one of the negatives from Seasons of Old, is it just kind of took out the tedding. But I like the idea of it. If you're making hay, you look at the weather, you check out the forecast, you got sun coming, you've got a good chance of making hay. And if it doesn't and it rains again, you could still make hay after it. Whereas with this, what's really cool is that moisture, instead of it going down, if it rains again now, it'll go up. So imagine if I only get it down to about 15%, but then we have 2 hours of rain, it's going to go jump up again. So then I've got to find another window. So the grass isn't going to rot away, only bales do. So you still have a chance, but it just makes it harder. So you really need to try and plan out doing hay in the typical months, which is like the summer or late spring or something, potentially, because you're going to get that good sunshine. Now, I know it's not hot. We've got a bit of cloud, so I'm interested to see how that changed it. Currently, it's at 24.85. I'm going to skip now to 10 o'clock and probably do just out every hour. We'll check it and we'll have a look at it and see how it reduces. And that's probably going to be the best bet, because this is the first time I've properly done it. I've done some tests here and there, but this is the first time I've properly done it. So we'll gauge it and get a bit of an idea on it. So yeah, let's jump to 10 a.m. I'll jump back in. Obviously, with it having loads of different cells, it's a different percentage all over the shop. You can see this. There's a tiny section there that says we had one that just said it hadn't been tedded. So we might have a spot that doesn't turn into hay, but it'll be enough for us to make a load of hay bales. But let's just go from like this spot here, walking out. There is 24.39. So let's see what that turns into at 10 o'clock. So we've reduced from 24.39 to 24, which is not much. So maybe the fact that it's not that warm and it isn't actually sunny is slowing it down, because I've actually increased the amount that it should reduce by. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to make this, because I've just seen the weather change at 10 a.m. telling me that I've got rain forecasted soon. Now, I don't know if that's because it's the rain that I saw at 4 p.m. or we've had a change in the weather. It still says 4 p.m. So are we going to make it in time? We've not reduced much, have we? Let's just skip this now and see what happens. Let's go to, let's say 12 o'clock, knowing that, I mean, it is shooting down 23.5, but is it enough? I doubt it is. We're going to be way off. So we're at 22.22. So we're probably going to get a load of rain that's going to bring this up. This is actually going to be quite problematic. I might have to adjust it. Obviously, with the fact, that I've made adjustments to the amount that moisture jumps up when it rains, it has more of an impact. So maybe I need to counteract it a bit better with the drying process of grass. And I can do that and stuff, but I can't do it right now. We're going to have to get through this one and see what happens. But I like it. I do. I think to myself, as a farmer, we've taken a risk in October to try and make hay anyway. It's more difficult to do, and it's showing that. So even though I will probably adjust it a little bit, I still like the idea of this, because normally you'd be making hay in the summer months. If it comes to the point where we can't make hay, we're just going to have to make a last minute call and do some silage and maybe sell it for profit. to try and rake in some money, but we'll see what happens. We've got till 4 p.m. I doubt very much we're going to get to the 12.5. What's crazy about this is I did set it to 18.5. So if it gets to 18.5, you make hay. But the problem I found with that is, yes, you have the option to, say I was trying to make silage. I cut the silage, I cut the grass, maybe it's at 16% moisture on the ground. If I get a tedder out, it'll instantly turn to hay, a bit like it does in base game. So I wanted to have like this, where it's too moist, the grass is, I need to ted it and let it dry. So I found at 18.5, you're more likely to just ted and have instant hay because it's lower than 18.5%. But as you've seen in this time round, you know, we were in the 24% mark. It could shoot up even higher. We could be getting like, I don't know, 50% if it's just been really bad weather. And then at that time of year, you're going to struggle to make hay. But what I like about that is it might push me into the path of, right, I need to buy hay because I can't make it. So it really does open up loads of decent aspects of the game that make it more challenging, more interesting. So I'm not complaining at all. This is the way I want it to be. So we'll just see what we can do. We'll see also how much it jumps up by, because, you know, if we're standing here now, it's 21.84. You know, if it rains, what's going to happen? It's not like I need to do anything in this month, so I know I'm passing time. Yeah, cows have got plenty of TMR. I fed the chickens another 1,000 litres from the wheat that we've got stored in the shed. So we're down 1,000 litres on what we're going to sell, but that's because they needed that. And the work I'm going to be doing in that crop field, I don't need to worry about until pretty much after the new year, so in the spring months coming up, because we're doing, soybeans. So soybeans we're going to plant in April, so we don't have to do any winter crop. So we've got plenty of time with everything, really. The only thing I need to keep an eye on is getting into the winter months and selling the wheat that we're going to be doing around December time, January time, something like that. We've also got straw that, again, is around the same time as selling the grain. So really, we've got October and November to kind of mess about with to try and get some hay off. But it's all going to depend if we have enough time and gaps, because I've also increased the amount that it's going to rain and how long it's going to rain for. So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's the most enjoyment I'm having on FS for a while, messing about with all this code and try and find the sweet spot for Oakbridge, basically, you know, Calmsden. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll skip through right before 4 p.m. and we'll see what's going to happen. I'm hoping the rain is a bit forgiving and holds off, but if it doesn't, we're just going to have to try and make do with it. But we're at 22.16 currently, well off that 12.5. We are in, well, we're 5 minutes away from 4 o'clock, and it's 18.2%. So if I did set it 18.5, I would have been able to get hay, but the problem is if I then bailed it really quick, which I wouldn't be able to do probably before it started raining, they would start rotting. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, take the hit on this. So I'm going to speed up time. We're going to see what happens. This is more now like a test. I want to see if the moisture goes up. Now the moisture in my field's going up, but the moisture so far, the grass isn't going up. That is a strange one. So the grass actually doesn't change. So we'll always get to hay no matter what. I'm not sure if that's the way it's intended to be. I don't know, but I thought that the moisture of the grass goes up if it rains, but it's going to make things easier for us. But I don't know if that's maybe something that just needs a bit of work, because it would make more sense, ideally, if the moisture of the grass did go up when it was on the ground, and that was basically just having an effect. So obviously it's drying out now, but, you know, if it did rain, it should go up. But I'm not complaining right now. I can still make hay at this rate because we've got some sunshine coming up. And if we skip through the night time, I mean, we've got plenty of feed. I'm just worried about cows. They shouldn't need any more grub. Yeah, they've got plenty. So we can skip through, hoping that we get to like maybe 9 a.m. time, something like that, and we can start making a bit of hay. I mean, you've got to admit this is better. The fact that we've got grass out in the field and it's drying naturally, we've tedded it, turned it over, and hopefully, you know, by the next in-game day, we can start making hay. That's the aim. And now we've got some good sunshine. You can see that it's flying down. I know we're at times 1200, but at this rate, we're going to be making hay probably about maybe well, very soon. In fact, that's just turned to hay really quick. So I think it did make a difference with it being sunshine, not cloudy weather. And you can see that not all of it's turned to hay yet. This is still, yeah, it's getting close. It's 12.63, so that's on the verge of turning to hay. And then, you know, around here, we've got one that's like 14.5 though. So there is a section of it that's still going to be quite moist. So I think what we do is we skip forward to about, I'd tell you, let's go to 2 o'clock and see if that turns the whole field. But it's good to see that top section is dried off to hay. So let's go to, oh, we've got a bit more pop through. As long as we don't have any rain coming, I'm happy. Because all I'm thinking about now is the baling. Like, as soon as the bale gets hit by some rain, that's it. It's going to start rotting away. But there we go. Oh, we've got rain on the horizon as well. So let's just stop here. I'm going to stay at 10 past 3 because I want to get the bales in. So what is it down here, this section? Because this is... Oh, that moisture there is 68. That's insane. Is that because it's constantly in a shadow? I mean, it can't be. I mean, if that is pretty cool. It might be because the moisture retention here is 393, which you'd expect because it's obviously like an area where water would collect. So I wonder if it's that. Or is it? No, I don't know actually. But you can see down here in this section, the moisture of this grass is pretty bad. So that's good to know because it's always probably going to be higher down there. And it's going to be more difficult to make hay. We've done enough. I'm happy. I need to go and row up now and also bale up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a jump cut of where I've done the rowing and the baling because this video has gone on for quite some time. And yeah, I'll show you. I'll cut back in when the bales are in the fields because we're going to have to try and plan out when that rain's going to hit and get them stored away before that. But my God, making hay now is a lot more complicated than it used to be. And I like it. It's definitely an improvement. So there it is. Realistic weather mod in action and the new way to make hay whilst using that mod. For me, it's a big improvement. Yes, the mod needs tweaks and changes, and Arrow's working his socks off, making changes and obviously improving, and there's new things coming. He has also said as well, which is something that I know a lot of people have requested, that his roadmap is eventually going to lead him to making a settings section so you can actually specify certain things. So that could be like, do you want to see the moisture box in the bottom right? Things along them lines. I don't know exactly what else is going to be in that, but at least we're going to get some kind of settings section for the mod. So hopefully it can make it a bit more customizable if you don't want like maybe the withering effect, if you've got a drought, or you know, you don't want the moisture aspect of it. Maybe you just want the fog, or you know, some of the other stuff that comes with, you know, some of the other stuff that comes with the mod. But I like this way of making hay. It did take a lot more like thinking, you know, there was more thought process included in it whilst making hay. And I like that. I think it makes the game more in depth and better. And we can start properly planning out hay a bit better, where we do make it in them summer months instead of making it in October. Maybe it is the second cut, or if not the first cut that we do, just because the weather kind of, you know, the weather is better for it at that time. Maybe around the first cut, second cut, depending on what it's like. You know, we could have a load of sun coming out that's just going to last for all day. You know, at that point, then you've got a good chance of making the hay. I really enjoyed it. We did get a lot of grass at the bottom, but the way I did it is I collected hay and then went and got a bit of grass and collected more hay. So the actual bales still came out as hay. So I ended up with 10 hay bales, which is not bad. Now I have checked the weather and I'll bring it up for you. You can see we've got a good flow of rain here, which is 9 till 5 a.m. So that is a massive chunk of time where it's going to be raining, which makes me think, because I've got the moisture right now at 48.45% basically, I might actually go to Arrow's latest GitHub version of the mod, because I've done so many changes that have really been tailored to the fact that I always have drought conditions. But maybe all along, all I needed to do was change the environment XML in regards to the map. So the way it's designed and how much rain you're getting, because you can see that chunk of rain there. I don't normally see that in game. I normally see like maybe 1 hour at max, then it'll go off, and then maybe you'll get another hour later on. So having a chunk like that, we're talking what? These are 2 hour intervals. So is that like a 7 to 8 hours potentially of rain? So I'm hoping if I go to Arrow's version, which has obviously got some new stuff in there as well, I've got an in-game menu for moisture, so hopefully that can work. Even though I am running on custom fields, so I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, 38 is a defined field, but I had to plow it in, so I don't know how it works. We'll have to check it out. But I might go and try that out now, and I'll keep this as a separate version. So if it doesn't work, we can always go back. But I just want to avoid the withering. That was the bit that, made me think I need to avoid this currently and just make a few changes, because you work hard on this kind of series where I'm playing on hard difficulty, planting in a crop, and then all of a sudden 60% of it's lost because the moisture's just hit too low. And yes, I can go and use a sprayer and put water on. Maybe that could be the thing we have to do, but it definitely makes it more difficult. And I think I'm just going to go head first on it now, the way it is designed by Arrow. And if it means that I've got to get a sprayer out or a tanker and put water in it, then that'll be what I have to do. I think it makes it more interesting, more challenging. So I think that's going to happen in the next episode. I'll switch over to that version. But before I end the video, because we've got quite a bit of time, it's 3:30. I don't need to obviously bring the bales in straight away. As long as they're under cover before it starts raining around 9 o'clock, I'll be happy. But what I want to do, because I'm sitting at 20,000, I also don't need to worry too much about, as much. It's still 5,000 each month that we progress. So when we go into November, I'm going to lose £5,000. I was talking about getting a new shed, and I think it has to be the first thing we do, because I need some extra storage for bales. I'm liking the idea of what we originally said, which is a few episodes back now, is putting a shed here for bales. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and get one that's reasonably priced and not too big like that. I mean, that's not a bad price, but it's, again, too big. There was a couple that I found that were just the perfect size. I mean, that's not a bad one. Let's see how far I can get this and try and get it on a bit of an angle as well. I mean, that's right on the edge of that field, but I'm going to do it. There we go. I did it. It's placed down. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, I definitely want to change the ground texture, though, there. I think I might go with this, the same one I've got here. So let's go with this, and we'll also level it out. So we'll smooth it out anyway, that section, definitely. But as long as we can just... as long as we can get in and out with ease, which it looks like it's going to be, it should be alright. I mean, our first expansion, really, this is. And I know it's not much, it's only a cheap shed, but it means a lot. It really does. I'm going to leave this section as mud because it was a bit of a challenge coming in and out. And I want that to remain. And if I have to change this bit here, if it is too close, because that does look a little bit too close, I might just do that. But, I mean, so far it's not too bad, is it there? I think that should be all right. I'm just glad we've got extra storage. It's going to go a long way. Right, last thing then. Let's just smooth this out on that one. Try and do it so it's not too sharp, and we're also not making it look dodgy. So let's jump over to the harvester. We'll have a quick look at it. So some of these straw bales are probably going to be the first things I load in because I don't need all them. I like how that's smoothed out. That's really good. But yeah, we can put some straw in there. We can put a hay there. Silage is always going to be outside anyway because we may as well with it being wrapped. But yeah, finally we can actually free up that shed where on the right-hand side where I've got bales and just put all the grass equipment in there. I can keep the baler in there. I can keep the well, not the windrow because the windrow is just too tall, but everything else I'll keep in there. And then this is now going to be our bale shed. There we go. We are moving forward. And we're still at 13,000, which gives me, enough money to progress. 2 months. So I can go into November and December. Is that going to be enough to get me through the winter months? I don't know. We could have a quick look at contracts now. And if not, I'm going to jump forward to like December, January time. But we've got some more bale wrapping contracts, which are good. We've got some round ones as well. And I did lease out, but I haven't actually returned it. So it might mean that I could do one of these contracts. I mean, 29,000 for that one in 23 is not bad for just wrapping bales. And I only have to lease out that. So, you know, I'm covering the cost of leasing that out. And it's a big field. It'll take me some time, but you can't complain. It's 29,000. So I'll think about it. I'm not sure. What am I going to do? I'm either going to do this contract in the next episode, or I'm going to jump through to December, sell that grain, because I think it should then get us through. But because that's a lot of money to take in. I feel like we're already doing okay, and we can get to at least December, but then we've got to sell the grain anyway. And it might just be a better idea to just jump through and progress to December. Yeah. We'll find out in the next episode. On that note, I am going to leave the video there, so thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Started off with me having a good moan about overdrive, and it's ended with me getting a new shed, so it's been a productive episode. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator. See you, everybody.